Celtic.
It'll be a similar game to last night, I think.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
I think we've got to keep rolling with this 3-5-2 at the minute, and hopefully by this game the transfer window will be shut.
Yeah,
and I guess in the next podcast we could probably have a more because we've went on quite a bit in this one already. I guess the next podcast we could probably have more of a kind of roundup of the window and talk about business being done. Now, Celtic fans are not happy. They are not happy with how the window has went.
No.
And I feel like Celtic need to make an addition before this game. I'm not on the side of complete unhappiness, but I can understand the frustrations.
Well, what Lennon said before the window that he wanted how many players to improve the squad?
4 or 5 players
to improve the squad.
We brought in 2 players
who are there for development, I think.
Yep. I said for this game I want to keep us going with a 3-5-2. I'm liking what happens because that was what we played in the first half last night and it looked
But
good.
I think they should go that for the Old Firms as well because they've tried one up front in the Old Firms and it's not worked.
But if we keep going with this 3-5-2, we need a centre half. We need one. Stojanovic, he's not.
Oh, is he not good enough? Are you going to say he's not good enough?
Not reliable. He's not reliable. So if we go into this game 3-5-2, yes, it'd be great. But it'd be great if we could bring in someone even on loan for the next 6 months. Benkovic.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Benkovic would be the ideal.
Let's just slide that in. Lenny, hope you're listening. But I
think he was listening Tuesday because he chucked Greg Taylor in after we were talking about it.
And how good was he? We didn't even speak about that. We never even touched on how he was brilliant.
So on to last night's action.
Yes.
What we'll start with? We'll start with you then. You were at McDermott Park last night.
I was just about there. I nearly missed the start of the game. Got in and what a first half performance from Neil Lennon's side.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably the best first half of football I've seen all season.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, it could have been 7-0 at half time, and then when they go in at 3, you're thinking this is going to be 6 or 7.
I mean, by all means, the conditions were not fantastic.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone was talking about the pitch-free match, but Celtic's football wouldn't have suggested there was anything wrong with it.
That's exactly what I was going to come and touch on. I was saying, by all means, conditions weren't fantastic, but didn't hold us back. No, I think at points of the game, especially look at the build-up to the first and the third goal specifically. It was some beautiful football. I think Edouard and Griffiths, they looked fantastic. They looked so natural playing together.
I mean, the thing about Griffiths last night is the first 2 games he played, the Thistle game and the Killie game, he got a goal, but you could still tell he wasn't quite at it. There was still. Whereas last night, I thought he looked really sharp. His link-up play and everything.
I think it was
lovely goal too.
It was in the game, and I think it wasn't even just with Edouard. The way that Griffiths was kind of in and out the game with other players around him, and Cham and Brown, and there was just these wee passes, wee flicks here and there that showed that his head was right in it. He was ready to score. You could see. I knew for a fact he was going to score.
Yeah.
In the first opening, 10-20 minutes of play, I was like, Griffiths is going to get himself a goal today.
It was weird because yesterday was threatening to be a really difficult day for Celtic with all the Ncham stuff during the day, and then there was rumours that there was
apparently
he was very unsettled
and talks with West Ham, but then he's playing and he gets a goal in the first 10 minutes
he says
of the game.
Post-match he's happy at Celtic and wants to stay. So
that's fantastic. I mean, it left me with my face because I was making a video.
I know, I was thinking that. Forrest as well. Back in a bit of form now.
It's good that he got
an assist at the weekend. Goal and assist last night.
It's good that he got the goal because honestly, within the first 20 minutes of the game, despite how well we're playing, you could still hear the frustrations towards Forrest. There was bits of the game where people weren't happy with.
He put the cross in for Ncham. It was a brilliant cross.
It was a brilliant cross, but he was still getting that, and then he scored, and it just kind of silenced it. I think people did sit down and realise that he's actually having a good game here.
Yeah.
I feel like Forrest is one of those players. He's always going to be a kind of an easy sort of you can nitpick just. The slightest of errors and it's going to annoy
He's a Celtic dad's sweetheart, but then the young ones tend to just think, get Shved on.
I mean, Shved's still missing. And then obviously as well, Edouard did start the game despite the fitness issues that were spoke about. Surprised, but Kamara did come on. He did replace Edouard finally in the game.
The one thing I want to talk about from this game was Neil Lennon just bamboozles me as a manager. I don't understand so much of the stuff
So we spoke about it last week.
But last night was mental. If Edouard's carrying a knock, you're 3-0 up at half time, get him off.
Why
are you risking him?
I didn't expect him to start the second half, but what we spoke about how good the first half performance was. What we didn't speak about was how flat the second half performance was.
It was dreadful.
It was terrible. And I don't understand what was happening because we made the change. We brought off Jose Simonovic and we brought on Moritz Bauer. And we changed to what looks to be a kind of 4-3. And this is how I'm going to word it. Do whatever you want up front. There was no sort of one minute Edouard's in the middle, then he's out left. Then Forrest is on the right, then he's on the left. Then Griffiths is floating around the middle of the park somewhere. I didn't quite know what was happening. So for me, I don't know why he just didn't get Edouard off straight away in the second half. And it was surprising.
Especially if he's carrying an injury. If he wasn't fit at the start of the weekend, I don't get it. He's your best player. If he gets injured, you're you're struggling.
We've got big games coming up, and Edward's staying the pitch longer than Griffiths, which
again is absolutely baffling because you've got one striker who needs game time and needs sharpness, and you've got one striker who's played loads of games and has been carrying knocks, and you keep him on.
Aye. And Neil Lennon also in the new, and this is obviously, I'm not turning into a slight Neil Lennon show, but Neil Lennon yesterday carried a little bit of controversy. You could see around have you seen the Mikey Johnston
thing?
Stuff?
Yep. Right, so here's what I was confused, because when I was kind of watching 3 games at the same time last night, so I was watching the Celtic game. Johnson went down injured. I didn't see what happened, but it looked like he was dizzy. It looked like he was just out of the...
Honestly, I could not, and I was there at the game, and I was watching it with my own eyes, and I was still so baffled at what was happening. I couldn't tell what was happening.
Edouard was about to come off, and Lennon was holding it to see if Johnson was okay. Johnson gives a thumbs up, then 10 minutes later he's off anyway.
Off again.
And Lennon's just raging.
But I'm sitting at the other end from when it's all happening, and when Johnson's down and people are seeing him, they take him off the park, and I just see the St Johnson fans hurling abuse at the referee and Johnson to get him off the park and all the rest of it, but I'm still sitting there baffled to why he's down. I didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah, and then Lennon was absolutely raging with him. So.
And I've heard before in the past that Johnson might not hold the greatest of relationships with Lennon.
Well, I mean, after he went to walk onto the bench last night and was very much told where to go.
Totally was. I mean, we don't want to repeat what Lennon was.
No, it's a family show.
Seen saying, yep. But I mean, you've seen it yourself probably on Twitter. Do you think Lennon was a wee bit out of order there?
I can understand his frustrations, but I don't think he should be letting them out.
We know the character of Neil Lennon.
Yeah, I mean, it's he can be absolutely raging, but I don't think he should be doing that, especially in front of TV cameras. That's just ridiculous. Especially when there's been rumours all week about how there's slight unrest in the camp, maybe with the Encham stuff. All that's going to do is increase people's criticism of him and speculation that it's not a happy camp.
I guess the victory kind of will overshadow it a bit because Celtic fans aren't going to. It would have been if we went there last night.
If that game finished 1 each, that would be front page.
You imagine the meltdown if that happens. Celtic drop points, Rangers win. Neil Lennon would be under scrutiny from fans,
especially when you've got 3 stands of your own ground being taken up by the opposition.
And I wonder, do you think that comes in? We talk about how more.
I don't think it would have made a difference. The only difference it makes is that it makes St Johnstone more money.
That's what regardless. We get the. I never had the chance to speak to any St Johnstone fans or anything about it, but you get that conversation of where you balance between making your club money and then sort of alienating your. I mean,
that extra income last night could be the difference between St Johnstone getting a player in the next 2 days.
And you think about that over the course of 4 potential games against Celtic and Rangers.
It's an absolute no-brainer for me. I mean, if Celtic would have had 2 stands anyway, they're still going to have more fans than St Johnstone, so that argument's irrelevant.
Because I mean, St Johnstone didn't even sell at the stand they had.
And if exactly, and if you put Tommy Wright said before the game, if St Johnstone were doing well last night, the atmosphere amongst their fans would have been better because they're all in the same stand instead of spread out along the ground.
I know.
So, I understood the idea, and I don't think it made any difference.
I think it's a real hats off to them for actually standing and doing it.